Hello, hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another album review. Don't worry, we'll get back to the Pink Floyd ones eventually, but I decided I'm going to change my format, and whatever band to start with, that's better than The Clash, because they only have 6 albums. So over the next 8 weeks, or 2 months, we're going to be talking about it. It's going to be October, probably Halloween by the time we stop. So we're gonna go through every album, starting with this album, The Clash from 1977. Let's get to a little facts about the album. Obviously, it was The Clash's first studio album with Joe Strummer, Mick Jones, Paul Simon, and a guy named Terry Chimes on drums, along with another couple of special people written in and out. And we'll get to those in the songs, but yeah. Without further ado, I think we should just get started. Okay. So the first song is Janie Jones. Was a Joe Strummer and Mick Jones collaboration. I honestly very much loves the drums. Honestly, I could have given best performance to Mick Jones, but I wanted to give a best performance to somebody else besides the two main people on this album. So I decided I was going to give it to Terry because I really like the drums on this track. And the guitars are pretty cool. Honestly, one of my favorite parts is the vocals, although all three of them perform so well I can't perform a standout. Although Joe Strummer, actually, I like the way he sings this song. The earlier years that Joe Strummer was just honestly shouting instead of really singing was pretty intriguing, especially since I didn't understand what half the lyrics on this album were. But as we'll talk about it later as it goes on, he seems to, you know, turn into more of a singer. Also, this is going to be ranked on a good, okay, and bad song tier, like my other Pink Floyd one was. This song is like 2 minutes and 9 seconds or something around there. So it's kind of short. Honestly, I wish it was longer, but because it was pretty fun to listen to. But it's a sharp, punchy song, like most of the songs on this album are. We'll talk about the ones that aren't. And this song is a good song, as I said. I like the drumming. I like the vocals. I like the guitar. Nice and punchy. I mean, that's all you want in a punk song, practically. So, yeah, it's a good song. On the next one. Second track is Remote Control. This one, another Joe Strummer and Mick Jones duet. I gave best performance to Mick Jones because I love the backing vocals, and the guitar gives it even more of a punchier tone. Fun fact, they did not want this song released, which is why they wrote another song that we'll be talking about a little bit later. And that would come out on the US and UK. So basically there was the US and there was the UK. The US basically released theirs in 1979 before London, like a little bit before London Calling was released itself. So there was like singles from the last like 2 years on it. So it's kind of, eh, it exists. UK version exists, but more powerful. But we're doing it in the UK version because that's the way the Clash intended. This is also showing their the song's also showing their political side, and they literally. It's just it's just. I don't know what they banned and see in this song. I I really don't. It seems like many people agree with me. Many people like it. Oh crap! I just gave away my rating, anyways. You know what it is. It's a good song. I still don't understand what the band did not like about it, but you know, yeah. I mean, the vocals are solid by Joe. It's a solid guitar, drums. I mean, the drums on the rest of this album are basically normal, generic drums. Bass lines are solid, although they're mainly written by Mick, because Paul was top notch at a bass at this time. That'll come in a little bit, though. Oh, yeah, it's a good song. On the next one. Next song is I'm So Bored with USA. It's track 3 on the US album. Ironically, it remote control flipped on the UK album. That's just very dumb. I mean, sorry. It flipped on the US album, and it was like this on the UK album, which is very retarded. Anyways. The song originally started out as a Mick Jones original, I'm So Bored with You. And then Joe Strummer read it, and he thought he was saying USA. And when he found out it wasn't the case, he basically wrote a whole nother set of lyrics. And it basically sounds like a political masterpiece. I'm saying the drums are just drums, they're normal. Same through the bass line. The guitars are punchy. Honestly, I probably shouldn't even mention that at this point because you already know what's gonna happen. And the vocals performance by Joe is a pretty good one. Enough to get him best performance, while Mick Jones won his best performance on remote control. Due to his backing vocals, it's not gonna happen this time. Also, Mick Jones and Joe Strummer screaming I'm so bored with the USA as the chorus is solid. That's a very punk thing to do when you scream instead of sing. Which they would clearly go away from later on. But we'll get to that eventually. Anyways, this song thing. Good song for all the reasons I mentioned. I honestly, this was the first Clash song I really got into. I'm so bored with USA. Listen, it's still a favorite of mine. I don't think they were to US at this time. I think that happened during the Sandinista era, maybe. I don't know though. Another Jones and Strummer written song. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's just gonna be most of the entire album. But you know, yeah, they're just they're the new Lennon McCartney, I guess. Ah. All right, next song. Track 4 is White Riot, and at this point, it's a Joe Strummer Mick Jones song. And literally almost everyone knows the song. Honestly, everyone probably knows the first 4 songs because they're some of their most famous. Besides Shaney Jones, of course. I mean, it's fine if you don't know that. I just think that's a really good song. Anyways, White Riot, very popular song. For some reason, they changed it on the US version to be more produced sound. Also, they added a siren at the beginning, which I actually kind of like. And that it's a love-hate relationship with it, I guess. It's track 4 of 14, and I gave the best performance to Mick because he's basically on the entire thing. I love the guitars, and I'm pretty sure Mick's doing that background vocals screaming with Joe. It's basically Mick and Joe as a really good duet, and then Paul and Terry are just there to help on this song, it seems. But hey, that's not a bad thing. I mean, it gets high reviews for a reason, because it's good. Oh no, I should give away my rating anyways. This song is a good song. As I said before, there's a reason why this one's famous, because it's a nice, it's a punk as, it's a punk as hell song. It's around 2 minutes long, so it's not that long. And also, it's very political and kind of about race. So yeah, next song.
Have to deal with it.
Track 5 is Hate and War. Of 14, that's a Joe Strummer and Mick Jones song. Best performance, this might be a controversial one. Mick Jones, because I love that guitar. Although Paul could get it because the bass line's actually really good on this song. And Joe could get it because I like the vocals. But I really like the guitar songs. And I'm pretty sure Mick Jones is singing background vocals on this song. So I honestly just like all the vocals on this song. So add the guitar on, you're like, best performance. Winner right there. Anyways, this song is it is a good song. Honestly, everything about this song that I've said has been good so far, so that just proves what I think of it. It's a good song.
To be. I tried spot cream and I tried it all.
Track 6 of 14 is What's My Name by Keith Levine, Joe Strummer, and Mick Jones, but like Keith Levine is the former drummer. Levin, whatever. He's a former drummer of The Clush. The Clash. Anyways, it was written by those three. Best performance went to Joe Strummer. Honestly, I could have given it to Derry Chimes. I really like the drumming on this. In fact, it's very loud in the mix that I have. Honestly, the chorus might be my best part, though. Where they just keep saying, "What's my name?" Because it's like a gang vocal style. At least two people are on it. At most, everyone's on it. That's what I know. There can't be under two people on this. Unless if the Clash did something on Punk and just looped him saying, "No!" Which is also could possible because with the rest of the other stuff really wasn't that punk sounding. I mean, some of it certainly was, but some of it isn't. This is a pure punk song now. This is it's a little under 2 minutes long, so it really wouldn't be a waste of your time to pick it up. Anyways, the song is a good song, although the drumming is very high in the mix. I kind of would like that to be a little lower. But besides that, a solid at least. It's a solid 8 or 9 out of 10 for me. And I'd place that at good compared to what we're going to get to later on in their discography. Anyways, on to the next track.
This is a liar.
Track 7 out of 14 is Deny, written by Mick Jones. Honestly, I think the best it's over 3 minutes. It's a little over 3 minutes. And honestly, it just feels like it kind of drags after like 2 minutes. It feels like it does. Best performance has to go to Joe Strummer for singing this song. I I mean, Deny, You're Such a Liar. When the truth hits you in the eye. The lyrics are clearly telling about how someone lied. There's really nothing standoutish about this song besides Joe Strummer's lead vocal, and in itself, that's not really that impressive because of some of the other stuff he did on this album. So it's just like, I guess I don't know what to call it. The song is a okay song. I mean, as I said before, there's really nothing stand out about it. It's just kind of bland, to be honest, and it really did not need to be over 3 minutes long. Although it's not terrible, I still liked it quite a bit. Anyways, on to the next one.
London's burning! London!
The final track on this side, on disc one, which is like two sides on the UK version. It's weird, man. Anyways, it's one that's burning, which probably is one of the best openers ever that you just heard. It's literally Joe Stummer screaming. Who doesn't want to hear that? I honestly want to make that my phone ringtone when I figure out how to do that. Joe Strummer throughout this entire song gives brilliant vocals. And obviously, the backing vocals are good. I like how everyone does the call. It's like a call and reverse thing, you know? Call and reverse thing. And the guitars are solid. I like the drums after Billy Joe screams, Longos, brother! Very good. Very, very good. Honestly, I think y'all know what this rating's gonna be, but this song is a good song. I mean, there's no other way to put it besides this song is awesome. It's a nice punk tune. On the next one.
Opportunity the one I never knock. Every job they offer used to keep you out the dark.
Forgot to mention the last song was written by Joe Strummer. So we haven't had a Strummer Jones single collab since Hate and War, and it's back with track 9 out of 14, Career Opportunities. Which, fun fact, used to be one of my favorite used to be my favorite song off this album. It's kind of dipped a little bit, but you'll see that in the song rankings anyways. Best performance has to be Joe Strummer, especially near the end where he actually gets a singing voice out instead of a screaming voice. Honestly. And, I mean, just listen to these lyrics. Look at the lyrics on the screen for some of the political stuff that they were talking about. Basically, this song was about how Joe Strummer always heard that his friends were getting recruited by and Joe Strummer on how people were recruited to the army. So yeah, and then they take it to the beach and they're like, "Here you go." You know? He wrote many songs about this, about the Vietnam War and other stuff, but I think this is the only one he's solely written about how army professionals lie about joining it. Anyways, I think you already know also what the song's gonna be, but I don't really care what the song is. Good song. If this song was not if this song is not your favorite song on the album, well then that means that it's great, man. Track 10, we have another Joe Strummer and Mick Jones original, Cheat. This song is literally like a minute and 41 seconds long. And honestly, I really enjoyed it. It was a hell of a fun time. Joe Strummer's vocals on here are very solid. I mean, Joe Strummer on this album as a whole probably is the best he'll ever be in the Clash. Actually, no, I take that back. He'll definitely be better later on. But, yeah. I mean, just like the highlighted lyric. It's crazy. I mean, clearly this song is about cheating exes. I mean, it's clearly obvious looking at the name Cheat. But, yeah. The drums are very heavy hitting as well as the guitar. And this song is just on all right. Good song, I mean. It's only on the UK version, I should mention. Like Deny and a couple other songs later, it's only released on the UK version, but honestly, it was a why did the US submit this song? I really enjoyed it. Maybe because they thought it was too short. Maybe it wasn't a hit for them, but it's a really good song. So yeah, on the next one. Next up at track 11, we have Protex Blue by the man himself, Mick Jones. Best performance, I think, just goes to Mick Jones because I do like the guitar on this song. It's solid. And I'm gonna be honest, this song is just very, for a song that's like a minute 40 long, it's very draggy. I honestly don't like it that much. There's really not that much redeeming factors in Protex Blue at all. It's just like forgettable as well. It's not like something you're gonna go back to from this album instead of the other stuff. Hell, even Deny you might go to instead of this. So yeah, I think it's very obvious to say that this song is a okay song because it wasn't very offensive. If there was something very offensive to me that I just hated about this song, besides the fact that it's very forgettable, well, then it would just be a bad song. But for us now, I just think it's okay. Let's just get on the track 12.
Thieves in the street.
Track 12 is Police and Thieves, which is the first reggae cover of many, and also the first cover that has to do with police of many, and also the first cover of many, written by Junior Mervin and Lee Scratch Perry. Honestly, they go back to my best line so much that it had to be my best line. Also, I just like that line. I mean, there could be several things that this song is about. The Clash like to talk about a certain array of social problems when they make their songs. It's just what they do. I gave the best performance to Joe Strummer. For some reason, I just like the lead vocal so much, although it literally could have gone to any of them. I mean, Terry Chimes was solid on the drums. I like the bass on this track. Also, Paul Simon is on backing vocals, and Mick Jones, he's on backing vocals, and I like the staticness of the guitar. But it had to be Joe because the lead vocals, without the lead vocals, some of the songs are just wouldn't be the same. This is one of them. This is one of those songs. Uh, I mean, by the way I'm talking about it, you should already know what this song is. At this point, the song is a good song. As I said, I basically like everything about this song. The bass, the guitar, the vocals, the backing vocals, honestly, it was... And I guess when the original singers heard it, they weren't that impressed because it's like, ooh, it's a white band doing their reggae cover. And this is by far the longest song on the album. It's like 3 minutes longer than any of the other songs. And kind of repetitive. So it basically it's set up to make me not like it, but I like it. It's weird, I know. Anyways, on to the next song.
48 so tell
Track 13 of 14 is 48 hours. That's a lot of numbers. A lot. It is 13, 14, 48 numbers. Writers Joe Strummer and Mick Jones. So there was only one cover so far on the album. This is honestly just very, like, the lyrics are cheesy, but I just like the instrumental so much, and the way he sings the cheesy lyrics. Also, it's like under a minute 40, which is like the only song. I think the only song they ever released, which is that little on time. So I'm actually really enjoyed this one. Best performance goes to Joe Strummer. As I said, I like the way he sings it. And if you can upgrade something that has cheesy lyrics with good vocals, well then you obviously deserve it to be what it is, what you are, and you're Joe Strummer. The song say. Good song. It's on the lower end of the good song spectrum though, because it is just a silly little punk song. It's a silly little punk song. I mean, of course, it's still hardcore and I like it, but it's like Clash songs have good lyrics. The Clash songs usually have good lyrics. This one just the lyrics are not that good. So I still give it good, but it's on the lower end for sure. Anyways, on to the next tune, the final song on the album. Of course. We still have to go through the singles afterwards. Haha.
where I got
The final of the tracks released on the album is Garageland. It closes out the album on both sides of the spectrum. It's another one of those Joe Strummer Mick Jones collabs. And if you want punchy, this is definitely your punter song. The guitars are punchy, the drums are punchy, the vocals are punchy. Even the backing round vocals are kind of punchy. And honestly, I love it. It has meaning behind the word punk music. Words punk music. Which is rare to say anymore because that's what that is basically, yeah. That is, yeah. It's basically out after this album, The Clash would change things up to a rock band, to an instrumental. It will get into that, but it's weird, man. Anyways, this song is a good song. I mean, this might be the most punk song The Clash ever wrote. I, it's so damn punchy. You want to punch a wall when listening to it, and it sounds like the thing between rich and poor. Since Joe Strummer, we grew up, and Michael Jones, they were all in the UK. So if you just read the my best lyric, it really sounds like they're annoyed with the rich people, which who wouldn't be? Anyways, on to the singles.
hope I go to heaven. I'm too.
So the next song we're gonna talk about is a B-side to a song we already talked about, White Riot, and this song is 1977. Oh, ah, this song is a very short one, like a minute 40 short. It's a Joe Strummer and Mick Jones written tune. I gave the best performance to Strummer because I just really like the vocals on this one. That was really. This one's another one of those really basic songs. And I probably talked so much smack about 48 hours that, or I think that's what that song was called. That you guys thought I was gonna give it a bad song, but no, it was so good. This is another one of those short, like punchy tunes. No, it's not that punchy. It's weird because I have a feeling I shouldn't like this. I mean, if you look at the best line, it's basically about what's happening in 1997. I mean, a lot was happening then in the music business. Like the Clash was existing, the Ramones was existing. It was basically all punk bands, but you know, yeah. Anyways, what I think this song is it's a good song. You guys probably didn't think I was gonna give it a good song because I was talking so much garbage about it that I, I mean, it is on the lower side of good, but it's still good. And going to okays, like Protex Blue.
The heart of London with the radio station right in the south.
Next up, Capital Radio EP songs that weren't already mentioned. Starting with Capital Radio 1, written by Joe Strummer and Mick Jones. Best overall performance goes to Joe Strummer because I just love his vocals on this song especially. On this album, Joe Strummer's vocals might be the best thing on the entire album. I'm calling it. That's gonna be rare in the upcoming things because there's gonna be a lot to be happy about. Talking about radio stations, obviously. They'll become a more famous track that has the word radio in it around the combat rock era, but we're not going to get to that for like a whole nother month. So it's like, I don't know why. I also feel like I should not enjoy this one. I don't know why though. But I do. It's a thing. I mean, based off what I'm saying, I'm basically blushing over it. You should know what my ranking is for it at this point. But yeah, it's a good song. I mean, the drums have just enough. The guitar has the drums and guitar have enough, and of course, the vocals carry it through. So, yeah, good song. And the next one.
I'm saying, ready for the gun call. We didn't want it, but I hate.
17th song is the A side of the Complete Control single. Well, Complete Control. And that's obvious. Anyways, writers Joe Strummer and Mick Jones. What's new? Best performance is gonna have to go to Mick Jones because I love the backing vocals and the guitars on this one. A little more than the lead vocals because on this one it's kind of hard to understand what Joe Strummer's saying. It's filled with rage, and if you just look at the best line, you'll figure out why. You know, they didn't like remote control being released. as a single or on an album, so they're saying. So this basically came out as a retaliation for that. And it's safe to say the Clash got complete control after that because the stuff they put out later was crazy. You wouldn't even believe it. Anyways, the drums are solid on this one, bass solid as usual. Guitars are fantastic from Mick Jones this time. And of course, the lead vocals are solid, and then the backing vocals are also fantastic by Mick or Michael Jones. Anyways, this song is a good song based off all the factors I just said. By the way, you might want to reread that best line because that might be one of my favorite lines on this entire album. Anyways, next song. Track 18 we're covering today is the B-side of Complete Control's City of the Dead. And honestly, this song, written by Mick Jones and Joe Strummer, like usual. The best part for me is the vocals by Mr. Joe Strummer, the Joe Strummer. But this one's kind of weak sauce. It's a little less catchier, it's a little more. The lyrics aren't that good on this one. It's just like this is one of the ones I feel I shouldn't like, and I kind of don't like. And it's nothing horrible. I just completely forgot even how the song went. If that's the case for one of your singles, especially with one of your higher hitting singles, no wonder it didn't make it on the singles collection. They were cutting songs out there like City of the Dead. They probably forgot it was themselves. Anyways, this song is a a okay song. That is third okay song, the first okay single song. At least it's only 2.5 minutes. If I had another minute of this, I'd be throwing myself off of a bridge. Anyways, let's just continue this on where it's next song.
So don't complain. I'm like I need to live on.
The penultimate song we're talking about today is the A side of the Clash City Rockers single. Ironically, it's also called Clash City Rockers. Can you believe that? That's crazy. I know. Written by Joe Strummer and Mick Jones. That's also crazy. It's not like most of the album's been written by them. And this song is one of their classics. I think everyone will agree on that. I gotta give the best performance to Joe Strummer because the vocals on this one really do lead it, and it's actually one of the rare cases that I can tolerate his confusing ass vocals. Sometimes I want to know what he's saying, so I have to, but until I look up the lyrics, well, I guess I don't know what the hell he's saying. That would show up on this album. Mainly their first three that would show up on. And a little bit of Cut the Crap, but we won't speak about that because that's like a whole month and a half away at this point. So, yeah. This song is a 3 minute 50 second long punk song, and that makes it work. That's all I need to say. This song is a how long? Good song, as I said. It's a good punk song that's almost 4 minutes long. Yeah. And this was the opener on the US version of The Clash, which we're not really going to speak about. until I guess I'll mention it later. But yeah, it's the opener there. So they clearly thought the U.S. people probably clearly thought it was good. Anyways, final song. We have come to the final song, the B-side of the Clash City Rockers single, Jail Guitar Doors, written by Joe Strummer and primarily Mick Jones. I mean, honestly, the guitars were solid, but kind of silent with the rest of the album. Guitars were solid, drums were really solid, and the vocals were solid, and the backing vocals were also solid, but overall, the song's just solid. My favorite part in it is when they go to the bang bang. You know, the part of the song that played earlier. At least I go back to it a couple of times, but when the verses come on, it gets very boring very easily, and that's what I just described this as. It's like you just listen to everything else, and then they throw another like 3 minute long, 3 minute 15 second long punchline. It's like they all sound the same. But hey, uh, this song is a okay song. It's definitely on the higher end of okay, probably the best okay song here. But it's just so boring at times, especially when the verses come on. I just get zoned out of it sometimes. Also, I completely forgot this was the B-side to this song. I thought it was a release as a single of its own. It probably would have gotten a lower okay rating for that then. Haha. Anyways, let's get to the song rankings. So that was the Clash's self-titled album, The Clash song reviewed. As we finish the song rankings, we're going to give a little bit more about this album. The UK and US albums version existed, and we'll talk more about that at the end. So let's just see how this album was. So there were 16 good songs and 4 okay songs. 2 of them being singles, 2 of them being track songs. Or in the case of the US version, 2 of them being unreleased songs and 2 of them being released songs. Anyways, the best song overall was White Riot. The best performance was clearly Joe Strummer, as he had a whopping plus 13. Mick Jones had plus 6, and Terry Chimes had plus 1, but since we won't see him anymore leading on any Clash songs, he's counting as a special guest for me. And Paul Simonon, he really hasn't gotten his feet wet in the game of bass playing yet. Next album, Topper will join the band, and he will get his thing there. So here's a mostly green pie chart: 80% good, 20% okay. I'd say that this in itself is a really good album then. I mean, if you are 80% good and 20% okay with 0% bad, well, I mean, if there's even 1% bad, it's like, but then there's like okay songs in there. I mean, some of the okay songs, though, are pretty high on the okay spectrum, like Jail Guitar Doors and Deny. So, yeah, onto the album rankings. So as we get to the album rankings, it's the only one here, so it's technically at number 1. Yeah. Although if we were ranking the US and UK, the US had 15 songs and 14 of them were good, and one of them was okay. And that okay song was Shield Guitar Tours, which is almost a good song. So I go ahead of the UK one, but just barely. But we're not doing US one, and I'll get to that after a quick word from our three observations. Here we have another new segment, three observations. Here's three of the key things that I observed from this album to the next. It's the only true, what we call a punk album by The Clash. I'll talk about it next album, but next album, they seem to be turning more towards rock music, and then they would completely derail after that into a whole bunch of genres. The second observation I made is that the songs are more considerably short compared to the rest of their discography on their albums. Several songs were under 2 minutes. Some were under, even one was under a minute 40, which is they basically have the shortest songs of basically their entire lifespan on this album. And I've been hinting at this all the time, all day this video. Number 3, the US version versus UK version. This is the only Clash album that releases in two different versions in both the US and UK. In the UK, it was the Clash's work. They got to decide what they wanted on their album, except for apparently remote control. And the US, they basically just took singles from basically all over the spectrum. They took stuff from like the London Calling era. They took stuff from the Give 'Em their next album, Give 'Em Enough Rope era. And they just threw it on the one right before they released London Calling in like June of 1979. By this time, Give 'Em Enough Rope was already out. I believe they edited White Riot, added Jail Guitar Doors, White Man and Hammersmith Palace, I Fought the Law, and Clash City Rockers, and removed Deny, Cheats, Protex Blue, and 48 Hours. And obviously they remastered White Riot, but yeah. I just thought that was an interesting fact. So that was my review of the Clash is self-titled. Tell me what version you like more. Comment, like, subscribe, share, and did you like the new rating, the new album rating layout? I know my audio was pretty garbage, but that's because it was really I was kind of sick through most of the recording of this. And that they had six singles, which is great. And now we're gonna talk about the album cover because I forgot to do that in the intro because I am very smart. Wink, wink. Anyways, it's seen as one of their best album covers, which is kind of weird considering it's just the band. Well, it's not even the band. It's just Paul, Mick, and Joe standing across train tracks. But I guess that's the fact that it's the first album. It's one of their best covers. I don't know. Anyways, join me next time when I visit Give 'Em Enough Rope, their second studio album, and the singles that went with it. Bye.